How many people saw about the cheating on the college entrance?
Oh, yeah.
And how it destroyed some people's lives, you know, when after they got caught, they might do everything else right. I mean, the one lady's star on my Hallmark channel, my goodness.
Uncle Jesse's wife.
She was, not anymore, yeah. You know, God makes rules and He asks us to bear His image, and it's not just for our own, you know, it's not for His good, it's for our own good. For fairness for others, to keep our life on track, because you can be we've seen it so many times, people of great success, and their life self-destructs under stepping out into some bad morality. And so God calls us to bear His image. It said we're just a little lower than the angels in God's sight. He gave us all this to be in charge of. And so we are called to be like God. And Julie, if you see me pointing, pretend like it's working, would you? And just go ahead and flip it to the next one. I'm not sure why. Dave, it always works for Dave, so I'm not sure what. Our idol worshiping brings us nothing but brokenness, shame, and guilt. I'll take it right here. Thank you. I might sit on it. And here's how you know what your idol is. What must you have to be happy? Think to yourself. In the college entrance, I guess they felt like their kids had to have this top school for things to be good in life. I've said it over and over, we all have to look at what we're leaning toward. Now, I had a suggestion from a nice parishioner that I step away from the podium. And I'm going to have to get another lapel mic. It's not working too good. This means I can walk right up to you. So if you look sleepy, I'll... So there's a lot of stories in the Bible that tell us what do we want first in life. Remember the story of the rich young ruler? And it's not about money's bad. And some people said the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but loving. So remember when the rich young ruler came to Jesus and said, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus said, obey the commandments. And he starts naming them. Don't murder, don't steal, don't, honor your father and your mother, and that type of thing. And he said, I've done all that. So he thought he'd been following. He's a pretty moral guy. But then do you remember what Jesus asked him to do? Give up. He said, you've got one thing left. Just give up all your wealth and come and follow me. And the guy went away sad because he wasn't willing to do that. Now, Jesus doesn't ask everybody to give up all their wealth. We don't have to go live on a commune together or anything. But he was just getting at this one guy's idol. The guy says, I've obeyed all your commandments. But he hadn't obeyed all the commandments because the commandment, have no other gods before me. Because the early Christians, and even they actually had to lose. They were persecuted and driven out of Jerusalem. They lost their houses, their business. And that could happen today. It would be, are we willing to give up everything if it was necessary? So Jesus sort of got to this guy's idol and said, there's one thing you lack. And maybe even if he said he would do it, he wouldn't have had to. Or maybe if he's like some of these smart guys, if he gave it all up, he said be so smart, a few years later he could earn it all back. but anyhow, just the fact was, he had something he loved more than God. He loved his money. In Matthew 18, it talks about the unmerciful servant. And he went before his master, and a lot of years, a lot of countries, there's debtor's prison. Now, that wasn't that long ago, even in England. If you didn't, there'd be a lot of people in jail in the United States right now. If you were in debt, you could get thrown into jail, and not only you, but your family too. Or maybe you'd have to work it off if you become slaves. So one guy went to the master and said he owed like $50,000, and he went to the master and said, please, I don't have the money, but I will pay you back. Don't take my family and me and throw us in jail. And the master had mercy. But this guy went out from there, and somebody owed him like $500, and he went, and this guy that owed him $500, he said, pay me up. And he said, I'm going to throw you in jail because you haven't paid me the $500. Well, when the other servants heard this, they went back to the master and said, you forgave that guy $50,000, and he had a friend who owed him $500, and he threw that man in jail. And the master, of course, in the parable, who is God, says, that's it. I'm throwing you in jail, and you're not getting out. Because when God shows us mercy, he expects us to show mercy to others. One of our idols is about power. We think we have power over someone if we don't forgive them. Well, actually, a lot of times they're going on being happy. Like if it was your ex and you won't forgive them. If you don't forgive them, you're all bitter and you're all sad, and they're going on having a good life. Probably so. But mainly it is you think you have power when you don't forgive, and really it's eating you up, and God's asking you to be like him. Be God's image bearer, which is, we owe God a lot. We owe a lot. And so he's forgiven us our sins. And so even if it's hard, we've got to keep praying and praying and praying, Lord, help me forgive, help me forgive. Don't have the idol of bitterness and unforgiveness. There's another parable, and it used to be called the parable of the talents, but now in some Bibles it was called bags of gold. It might be in one of the other Gospels. But anyhow, again, a master gave somebody 5 bags of gold, somebody 2, and somebody 1. And he told him, go and take my investments, do something with it. So we're talking about a parable, so we're not just talking about money here. We're going to talk about your whole life. So one guy had 5, he doubled it. He came back to master, I've got 10 now. The guy who had 2 bags of gold came back, master, I've got 4 now. Good job, he says. The one who had got 1 went and buried it in the ground. First, he just didn't want anything to happen to it, and he was all scared. And the master was mad. He said, look at these others. They went out and did something with what I gave them. And you had 1 and you just buried it in the ground. You could have at least invested it in the bank or something. The idol here is security. Sometimes we want security so bad we will not make any move at all. We're just not going to do much. If I had to go to help that person, they might use me. Well, they might. Let God settle that. If I give him that $5, he might use it for alcohol. That's your decision, or you can give him food or whatever. But, or we can be so scared in the church sometimes, so scared to make a move. Thankfully, we haven't been. We've been making moves. We've been fixing things up that have, after 50, 30 years, that need fixed. But you can get so paralyzed, you can say, I'm not going to make a move. If I spend money, like God's going to run out of money. He hasn't yet. In fact, when people see churches doing things and looking updated, they realize that God's doing something there. But we can have the idol of security, say, I got to be safe. I got to play it safe. And God doesn't like that. We trust God. So security can actually become an idol. We could be image bearers of God. And We had a time in the Methodist when they said, remember the fruitful practices they talked about? And one of them was risk-taking mission, meaning do something out of your comfort zone. Even if it doesn't work, just do something, try something outside of your comfort zone, because God isn't a God of comfort. Jesus left the comfort of heaven to come to earth. So he's not asking us to be comfortable and be secure all the time. He's asking us to step out into new areas. I don't have my clicker, but pretend. We are created by God and called to be image bearers of God. Go ahead and put our next one up. We're called to make a difference. We're on a mission with Jesus Christ. He came to reclaim the world for God. God made it perfect. Sin came and made it a mess. So wherever we are, we're called. And we don't have to preach or wave our Bible around or anything in our job. We can just be the person God called us to be. I was just even in the dollar store the other day, and this woman was greeting everyone who came in with just like she was your best friend and she was so happy to see you. Well, I mean, that was downright nice. And I mean, Dave treats me pretty nice, so I don't have to worry about it. But I would think some people, that might be the only smile they got that day. And that was really, she can just be a blessing on whatever job she has. Grandparents, aunts, and uncles making a difference. I've got an article, and I think I'm going to put it out there next Sunday so you can have it. Has anyone heard of Focus on the Family? They put a lot of good things about Christians. They had a thing about being a good role model as a grandparent, but you could be as an aunt or uncle or parent. And so it says our grandkids are looking at us, and in 1 Corinthians 11:1 it says, "Be imitators of me as I am of Christ." So what if they're looking for us? They're looking for men, he says, whose delight is in the law of the Lord. That's what King David said. He was a fierce warrior. He was a manly man. This was so funny at I shouldn't even say this, at my son's wedding. And they made some of their own vows. And they didn't even know what they were going to say to each other. And she had hers. I wanted a manly man. And so but, you know, some people think, oh, only that church is only for women or something, women and kids. But no, God has, all through the Bible, fierce warriors who were his strong followers who believed with all their heart. So that they see a good man, a good image of a Christian man. That it doesn't matter what we say with our words, that they see something by our life. And in the book of James it says, I'll show you my faith by my works. Now this is not to guilt trip you. In fact, this is going to be, do you want to be raised up in your either nieces or nephews or grandparents' eyes? I'm going to give you an opportunity this week. We want an opportunity, I mean, they already like you, I know that, but we want an opportunity to be raised up a little bit more. Come to Matthew 25, Tuesday afternoon. And then you tell your grandkids, because this is something that reminds them all our life we give back. And especially to somebody in dire need, we give back. Recently, Dave saw on the news some Matthew 25 trucks. Where were they going again?
They were on the way to deliver supplies to people who've been hit by tornadoes in Alabama. I saw them on 75 heading south.
Yeah. So it's not real mind-boggling work because you go there and you sort out Procter & Gamble's leftovers. And so put them in different things and sort out the good from the usable from maybe the unusable. But hey, it's on a truck to somebody. You had a tornado, and just show your kids all your life you can give back. It doesn't have to be 100 hours a day. It might be once a month, you can do something. So we invite them by our life, when in Philippians it says, look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. So when we do something that helps others, and we let our grandkids know, they're going to emulate not just our words, but what we do. What we do. If it's your niece or nephew, or just even people out there when they hear about that. Christian kids making a difference. I had a couple stories, but I heard a better one this morning from Diana. And was this a niece or something? This was her niece, about Christian kids can make a difference. So I'm probably going to mess up the story. Do you want to say it? Or you want to? Okay, you tell the story then, because I don't want to mess up the story.
My niece was about 12 or 13, and my brother had her driving, and he asked her if she wanted to stop for ice cream, which in my family is probably one of those idols we don't need. But she said no, because she was saving her money. Several of the girls from the team were saving their money to help buy shoes for one of the other girls who couldn't afford it. And my brother said to her, you're going to make me cry. And she said, well, don't cry. She was, because she thought she didn't have any friends.
I mean, at any age, you can show the love of Christ. And so that was a great example of sacrificial love. They had to save up to get a pair of shoes. And she was going to sacrifice her ice cream. And that's pretty darn good. So we can make a difference, and God calls us to make a difference at all stages of our life. So Jesus came to restore us to our original calling so that we can reflect God's love and His mercy and His justice and His righteousness to the world through the way we live our lives. People expect certain things, don't they? They're watching you. And that you're the only Bible some people will ever read. It's your life. They're seeing if by your life, is God loving? Is God kind? Does God cheat? Does God care about the fact that I'm struggling? So at conversion and at baptism, every Christian is committing to be on a mission with Christ to change the world. When Christ came back, He said, that was His mission. He said, I'm going to have to come down from heaven and set things right. He didn't put it exactly that way. But that's what it was. Christ had to come down to heaven and said, we've sent these prophets, we've laid down the 10 Commandments, people still aren't getting it right. So Christ came to earth. And He started His disciples, put us on a mission. Help make the world right. Help make it loving like I want it to be. Help make sure everyone's treated fair. And if somebody's in need, somebody's trying to help. Okay, so Christ put us on this mission. And so when every week, you're not just coming to sit in the pew and sing, I'm coming to remind you of your mission. Thy kingdom come, Jesus told us to pray. Thy will be done. So we come and we get our marching orders, we get pepped up again and say, Lord, I'm on the mission. Help me this week. Thy kingdom come, Lord. If I'm at work, Diane was talking about the grocery store, she talks to anybody, when we've seen it before, or she cheers somebody up, just any little thing. Smile. If you have a person of means, maybe you'll give toward a charity, or you'll go to Matthew 25. But thy kingdom come, Lord. I'm on the mission with you. Thy will be done. May your image, Lord, be shown through each of us here. Because we are blessed to be able to call ourselves after your name. We're able to call ourselves Christians. And may we be so. Amen.